and I strongly believe that the documentation that I have is relevant to this matter. It is what led up to
Mr. Serrano, I asked you before if you wanted to ask for a continuance. Do you want to ask for a continuance?
No, because I spoke to you 2 weeks ago. I tried to give you the documentation, and you said it was not relevant to the hearing.
Some of you might remember this man, although most of you won't. Only 5% had seen his previous hearing from 10 months ago. So this is going to be new for most of you. Now, before we figure out how it is we got to a man in the red jumpsuit, we are going to take a flashback to the past, to his original hearing. We'll watch that hearing, then I'll read your comments, what you thought about it, before we head back into why we are here today in a red jumpsuit. Now, with that, let's jump in.
Sir, can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Guillermo Serrano, inmate number 362212.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Guillermo Serrano, number 362212. He is serving a sentence of 20 years, suspended after 8 years and 5 years probation for an arson second and assault on public safety. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of August 23rd of 25. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender, and it shows that the offender has completed Tier 2 domestic violence and mental health programs. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Serrano, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, sir.
The reason why I think I should be granted parole is because when I first was incarcerated, I came in as a lost young boy. I was lost. I didn't have no guidance in my life. I really didn't have nobody to guide me and to show me the way of life, and it's unfortunately once I was arrested, I was given that opportunity. Yes, I made my mistakes throughout my incarceration. Yes, I had multiple tickets. I had my ups and downs. It was a struggle. Sentenced to 8 years. It was a big struggle, and I have a big support system in the world. I have my kids. So yes, it took a long time for me to understand that I had to learn to rebuild myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And though given that opportunity to do so, now I know what's expected of me if granted parole. I know what's expected of me to succeed out inside the community.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Serrano, for that opening statement. We have some questions for you after reviewing your file, and when we're done with our question and answer period, we will deliberate and give you our decision. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Ms. Turner will start with questions.
Morning, Mr. Serrano.
Good morning, ma'am.
I appreciate what you had to say, and obviously, what we have in the documents that were available to us is a very concerning picture. So, having rebuilt yourself as you described it, why don't you tell me who you are?
Who I am. All right. I'm a 33-year-old man. I'm a father of 2. I'm a person that, I have a good spirit. I love helping everybody else out. I give my last. I'm an outgoing person. I love to draw. I like to laugh. I like to spend time with friends and family. I'm just an overall outgoing person. And if a person is given the opportunity to really get to know me and really learn who I am, I can have the opportunity to show that person that I'm really an outgoing person. I'm a lovable person. I take care of people. I try to do my best to go out my way for people, and it's just who I am. And sometimes throughout my life, it caused me a little damage. You got people that take their kindness for weakness, but I've learned to be me and just continue to help people.
Mr. Serrano, are you a positive person in addition to being outgoing? Is it positive energy you give off?
Yes, 9 times out of 10 is more of a positive energy. Yes.
So tell me what was going on back in 2018 that you would make these choices that would endanger so many people.
To be honest,
Please.
more the drug use. Having an altered mind, not really thinking, not really, just refalling my life on drugs. Drugs itself it just destroyed my life, to be honest. It made me
But PCP
make
was your
decisions.
drug of choice,
Yes, ma'am.
and you were on that daily.
Yes.
Did they teach you anything in tier 2 about what PCP does to a person?
To a person's mind, yes. I've learned a lot. Took into consideration that, PCP is strongly a drug that alters the mind and could damage the mind over time. And it's something that I took into consideration, and like I explained to the in-house the parole officer, that it's something that I really want. It's something that I want to continue to be released on parole, to continue to get drug program, to get drug treatment in place, because I really strongly believe that I need to continue with my sobriety.
Oh, I agree 100%. And your mental health.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad you appreciate that PCP damages the brain, and the brain cannot recover from the damage that the drug does. So it can significantly lower your IQ, and we have no idea how it's going to play out as you age.
Yes, ma'am.
What about it as an experience made it your drug of choice? What did you like about it?
Just to get away the stress, the stress I've been through, the things I've been through in life. It's just something that helps me numb the pain. It's the only thing that I really had to go to at the time. I never really had anybody to give me any type of treatment, gave me any type of chance to really get the treatment that I needed out there.
Well, the reason I ask is because you also used marijuana, heroin, and cocaine.
Yes.
So I was trying to understand what made PCP your drug of choice in the experience, because a lot of people use marijuana to numb out and, to avoid feeling, but PCP is really a different animal.
Yes, it is. And it's something that I actually thought it helped me at the time to numb the pain. It's just one drug that really helped me just to escape everything I was going through. But didn't know that it was really affecting me in a different way.
How long were you a PCP user? Like, when did it start?
2009.
2009?
Yes.
Okay.
17, 18, yes.
Okay. Because your entire criminal history spans from 2009 to 2018 when you committed the arson.
Yes, ma'am.
So was there any point at which you checked in with yourself and made the connection between the PCP and being incarcerated?
No, at that time, no. Like I said, I came in as a lost boy. I was young, I had a lot of things going on. That wasn't my main priority, thinking that, it was causing more damage than good. And once I got incarcerated,
the obvious damage was that you were losing your freedom. You were getting locked up for it.
Yes.
So,
yes.
okay. I realize that you haven't taken the Voices program, But I'm wondering what, if anything, because you didn't speak at sentencing, you might want to say by way of an apology for the crimes that you're serving the sentence for.
Oh, during my sentences, I did apologize. During my sentence modification,
Okay,
definitely-
but I said sentence transcript, so that was when you were originally sentenced. You had a sentence modification in 2022. What was the outcome of that?
a denial.
Okay, so at that point in 2022, you apologized. You didn't
Yes.
back in 2021 when you were sentenced. So what would you like to say? Because this is on the internet, live streaming. People might be tuned in to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say that I apologize. I know that the night of February 13th, it was heinous. It should have never happened. I should have went about the situation a different way. And I apologize to the victims. And pray that y'all forgive me and give me a second chance at society.
So what do you think the harm was that you caused 6 years ago today?
Manchester man is facing 4 charges for starting a fire at a motor lodge. Newington police saying 27-year-old Guillermo Serrano intentionally lit a room on fire at the Grantmore Motor Lodge in February while other rooms were occupied. He's held on $1 million bond.
To be honest, the harm that I caused is putting the firefighters and the police officers at life at risk.
That's part of it. Yeah, 4 firefighters were injured fighting the blaze that you set.
Yes, ma'am, and causing the 53 people that was housed at that time at the Grand Motor Lounge, caused them their freedom and their living conditions. So I also apologize to them.
I'm glad to hear you apologize, but I'm asking you about the harm. Like, what do you think the impact was on them and their lives?
I think it was a big impact. I think it impacted them and affected them in their lives.
How?
Probably bodily injuries, just battling the fire mentally, it was a big situation, and I know I caused people bodily harm and I know I caused them probably mental health state of mind where, it was bad. It was bad. It was something that I know that it could have came out a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse.
You think they were traumatized?
Yes, ma'am.
I was
Yes.
staying at a hotel 20 years ago that caught fire in New Hampshire. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, because people die in fires.
Yes, ma'am.
Sleep through the smoke alarms. Maybe the smoke alarms aren't even working. It's incredibly serious, the choices that you were making. Why? Why did you set the fire?
To be honest,
Please, all of this should be honesty.
I don't know what really crossed my mind that night. I really don't know. I really don't know what possessed me to just start a fire and think it was cool. I didn't know what really went through my mind. I just did it. And it's something that I spoke in the beginning. It's something that, it was something that, like I said, when I came in, I was young. I was just ready to react. I wasn't thinking. Everything was impulse. And it took me nearly 7 years of my life to realize that things you just need to sit back and really think about your actions and really think about stuff before you do it. It's just something that I've just did. It was just spontaneous. It wasn't thought out. It wasn't planned. It was just out of
You used
anger.
an accelerant, so there was something going on that you had an intent to carry this out. And Mr. Serrano, what we're doing today is making a decision about whether it's suitable for you to finish the 8 years you have to serve out in the community before you begin probation. And we have to make that decision in light of the interest of public safety.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that.
You score high for your risk to reoffend. You have had 9 opportunities at community release and you've never been successful. Your criminal history dates back to 2009 and consists of 17 arrests. And you come in this period of incarceration and accumulate 60 disciplinary reports. I can tell you quite truthfully, we have people that we see serving 10 years who've never gotten a DR. The 60 is off the charts.
I understand that.
And 10 of them were for violence. So you have a standing criminal protective order against you until the year 2028.
Yes, ma'am.
You're aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you at some point try to set your cell on fire there in the facility?
That was the allegations, but that's not true. Those were allegations, but no, I was never
Okay.
successful.
So
It was never.
why were you so disrespectful to the correctional officers and the marshals?
Like I said, it was something that at the time I was young. I was young when I came in with not a care or none of soul. You know, I knew what was the charge at hand. I knew how much was the bond. I knew that, you know, it was a charge that I might be facing for a long time. And I just came in with a mentality that, you know, I just didn't care at the time.
Well, I think it was a little bit more than not caring, because you were actively aggressing against the COs and the marshal. You know, you spit on them.
Yes. And like I said, it's just something that it was a part of my behavior, you know, that at the time it was.
I don't think we're getting at the real issue, which is you have trouble regulating your emotions. Would you agree with that?
I know I have trouble regulating my emotions, and that's why I said I need help with that. I need some type of therapy, something I never got.
You know, you're not even eligible for release until August. So maybe you could talk to the counselors there and see if you get into an anger management program, perhaps. Something that's going to help you identify when you're physically starting to feel the symptoms of anger that then cloud your judgment and resort in you taking action without thinking through the consequences.
I asked this for the actual anger management classes, but they told me that they can't provide that since the mental health class already provide that for me. Well, they provided the mental health section, the anger management section,
and
thinking I'll be,
Did your treatment groups through cognitive behavioral therapy, did they address anger?
Yes, with the mental health classes, yes.
Okay, so what did you learn about your anger?
That anger builds on a lot of like anxiety, like worries and anxiety and overwhelmed. And I learned in the program that there's other methods that you could take, as far as one simple one as, you know, a breathing methods to control your anger. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of times, one of them that they recommended for me was to talk to somebody, because they feel that the need that I don't talk to nobody. I just hold my emotions in.
Yeah.
So they recommended
it. Like, and it just explodes out of you.
Yeah, without talking about them. So they just recommended me, you know, to look for therapy and to talk more about my history, like my past.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can move forward with my life. They think that my past is holding me from moving on with my future.
You have a lot of anger about your childhood?
Yes, just being in the, you know, in DCF for 7 years straight. It was, you know, I've been through a lot. And it's something that I feel that in here, yes, they provide a lot of programs. They do provide a lot of activities for you to grow. But the activities that they provide you with, they don't sit there with you and actually guide you through them. It's something that they just have you sign up for.
You need some more support with that.
I need somebody that could really sit with me, and I could go weekly and then go see them and really talk to them and really figure out how can I get over this obstacle of my past. Because I do want to
Well,
go home and
some
succeed.
people would say, Mr. Serrano, that you don't get over it, you plow through it. You got to feel the feelings that you've been stuffing and
Yes, ma'am.
disguising as anger, to let go of it.
And I think I just need somebody to help me do that. You know, I've raised myself for many years. I just think at this point I really need, and I'm acknowledging that I need help. And I'm looking for the help out there.
Right. Because drug use didn't fix it, did it?
It's not bringing me nowhere in life.
Yeah.
I do need the
For
help.
the domestic violence program, you had 4 different assault 3 charges in the past from 2014 to 2018, and you had punched your girlfriend in the face, knocking out one of her teeth. So what did you learn about in the domestic violence program that's going to help you?
I learned a lot. I learned in the domestic violence program that not only that it affects you, it truly affects the next person. How they carry out mentally with the rest of their lives, and how it affects their relationship with the next person. You know, I've learned that not only that, in a lot of domestic violence cases, it turns out 9 times out of 10, it turns out deadly. And there is methods that you could take as far as, you know, knowing that when the domestic violence is at hand, there is methods that you could take that, you know, you could just walk away from the situation and not be violent and not verbally disrespect your partner or physically disrespect your partner, or, you know, just caring for that person, as far as, you know, just making sure you love that person. And and you're in a relationship, if you truly love that person, you won't put your hands on that person or disrespect them.
Absolutely. Well said, Mr. Serrano.
That's what I've learned.
Yeah. Because, you know, all the violence gets you is your partner's afraid of you.
Yes, ma'am. And I've learned that. I've learned that in the past. I have partners tell me that, you know, they were scared of me after a while. And it did. It broke my heart. It broke my heart to hear that. Because I don't want a person to be scared of me. I want a person to love me for who I am.
You love yourself, Mr. Serrano?
I love myself. Yeah, at times I put a lot of high hopes for myself. And
Have you forgiven yourself?
no, ma'am. I haven't forgiven myself for a lot of things I've done.
That's something to work on, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot to carry around with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next time you say you love yourself, smile. Yeah. That's a huge step, sir. It is. It's a huge step.
It is.
Last question. Do you have any life goals?
Well, right now, yes. So I've been enrolled in GED. I'm actually in GED right now. So me and my sister spoke. If it was to be released, I'm going into Manchester High Night School to complete the rest of my GED course. And then I guess my stepfather wants me to go to class for my cross country for my CDLs. It's something that we discussed to talk about because it's something that I think I'm gonna need, just to be on the road, just to have a job, you know, just to get my life on track. Stay away from the negativity. I have goals. And I have a great family that's willing to help me.
You're very lucky. A lot of people sitting where you sit have nobody.
Yeah, I know. I get told that every day.
So, Mr. Serrano, no matter how it goes today, I believe in you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I believe in myself too.
Good. That's a beautiful thing. It's a huge step. It may not translate into parole in August, but you were end of sentence in September of 2026. to keep your focus, keep working on yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you've had decades of hiding from yourself. So you have to unwind and find out really who you are. And I wish you much success, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Ms. Zappa?
Yes, Mr. Serrano, I'm going to ask you one question that might be a little difficult to answer. And then the reason I'm asking it is I want to go in a positive direction, but I want to start in 2008 when you had your first interaction with the criminal justice system. And you said in one of the interviews that you were not built for this and you didn't want to come back. And you were 17 at the time. So I think the conversation that we've had with you over the last few minutes, we understand what you were going through and some of the challenges. And frankly, the influence of a significant amount of drugs and how they affected you. So in the ensuing 17 years, you've had this, but you've also had 2 daughters. Can you spend a few minutes telling me about your daughters and how everything has affected them?
It affected my oldest daughter by, just her acting up in school, talking back to the parents, just her just seeking attention. And I know her seeking attention is a lack of attention that I gave her over the years. And I talk to her daily. And something that I need to come home to.
So you still have a relationship, and this is the daughter that's 13.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about your younger daughter?
I really don't have any contact. The mother decided to separate herself from me, and it's been almost 6 years, 7 years. So, it's a lack of communication there.
Do you have decent relationship with the mother of your 13-year-old?
Yes.
So you see that as a relationship that you'll be continuing with your daughter upon release?
Yes.
And they're in the area?
Yes.
Okay. As part of what we received today, we did receive letters of support from your sister, from your stepfather, from your mother, that do paint a different picture than what we've read in some of the other reports. So I was hoping you could spend a little bit of time giving me some more detail about the support that you're going to receive from your family. You talked about Manchester High School and the potential of a CDL, but there's treatment issues, there's sobriety issues. What does that look like in terms of how they're going to help you maintain all of these different goals? Because you're going to have a lot of balls in the air once you do have release. Talk to me about how you're going to manage those.
Well, to be honest, just simple. It's something that I want. It's something that I didn't want back then. It's something that I didn't care for. And I know now that, I've been saying a while, and just the things I've seen in here, the things I've seen in here is something that made me change myself to better myself. And I really want it. I really want to go home and I really want to succeed. It's something that I really want. I didn't want it back then. I want it now. I really want to succeed.
And I think we can see that. We see you that you're emotional and the conversations you've had about your personal journey. But I do have to ask, the amount of discipline tickets that you've received is larger than what we usually see for this level of, time frame. I'm especially curious about the 4-point restraint tickets. Can you talk a little bit about that and why you would refuse that and get a ticket? What's happening when you're with the restraint?
So what happened is I lost my sister about 1.5 years ago. So they denied me to go to the funeral. So it's something that I took harsh. Prior to that, I was ticket free for 2 years. Took my sister's death from back. I still do. And in the process, I was an emotional wreck, and I was transferred from facility to facility. In the process, I guess, things happen. COs, I guess, took out the anger on my property, and my TV was broken and all that. So upon arrival at this facility, they didn't want to help out with my property. So I guess the 4 points restraints, to be honest, it was something just to get their attention, so that they will be able to, pay back my property. That's the real reason why I went on 4 points.
In terms of the programming that you've taken, whether it was the electromechanical programming or tier 2 or the domestic violence program, which one made the biggest impact on you, where it kind of clicked that I have to do different, I have to make change?
My domestic violence class, because
Okay.
it's something that I always had troubles with.
What about it made it click for you?
Because I realized that the same revolving doors is my domestic violence. It's my history with my anger, and that's what causes me to come back. And if I don't fix that, I'm gonna be in the same revolving door. So I thought that the domestic violence will have more of an impact on me.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Ms. Bethel. Give us a few minutes, Mr. Serrano, to discuss your case, okay?
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Turner?
So I think what we're witnessing with Mr. Serrano today is progress. He's got some really important insights to work with, and he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yes, ma'am.
The choices that he was making in the community were incredibly dangerous. People could have lost their lives. He committed these acts senselessly, under the influence, and is not even able to explain to us why he made the choices that he made. So I struggle with that side of it because, I came in with a denial for Mr. Serrano. It's too much between the behavior in the facility, the high risk to recidivate, his criminal history, and the crimes for which he's serving are all stacked against him. And there's nothing that he can do to change most of that. We're seeing someone who has taken his programming to heart, acknowledges what he needs to be doing, has some plans for being successful, certainly has the intent.
Incentive too.
Pardon?
He has the incentive. It sounds like he's been
Yes.
motivated to.
Yeah. And he starts by telling us that he was lost boy with no guidance. And he sits here now, a man at 33, with a support system. I mean, his fortunes are grand, considering the history. So I think I'm willing to go out on a limb and grant Mr. Serrano what would amount to about a year of discretionary parole before he begins the 5 years on probation. And I honestly think it's also in the interest of public safety as well as to his benefit. He's got to get on the right path with his recovery, with his mental health needs, with his educational goals. And I think parole would help him do that and is his best chance at success.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Turner. Ms. Sapa?
So in terms of this, I feel the same way, and I'm worried that now that he's acknowledged what he needs in terms of his mental health management and everything that he needs to be successful, that it's more likely that he can get that and be set up to be successful outside of the facility as opposed to programming within. And I think as much supervision that could be attached to him moving forward is going to be a benefit. So I would support moving forward with granting discretionary parole.
All right, I think that there's a running theme here today because I'm sorry, while I can appreciate all that Mr. Serrano has shared with us today, I certainly do see that he's motivated and he's had a rough life, and I get all of that. And I really certainly do hope that he will be successful when he is released out into the community. However, the fact that the nature of his crime is very serious, that he was on, he has 9 failed attempts in the DRs, and he received an outside charge just for conveying Suboxone into the facility. So for those reasons, I cannot support his discretionary parole. But I do certainly understand where the two of you are coming from in terms of your support for that release.
And Madam Chair, I completely get where you're coming from as well, because as I said, I came in here with a denial. I mean, this is a lot.
It
And
is.
we're really putting our faith in what we've heard Mr. Serrano say today, that he wants and intends for himself. And you know, I'd like to encourage him that failure is not an option in this case.
It's not. And I would choose to fail. And I don't plan on failing.
But I think it's important to note that he has quite the sentence hanging over his head if in fact failure becomes your default mode moving forward. You
Yeah,
know,
12 years.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
you understand.
I understand, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think we say this in a lot of hearings, and we didn't say it here, but I want it on the record that the people who are going to be supervising you, you need to consider them part of your team to help you, not to evade them and not to avoid them like it appears you've done on your previous periods of community supervision. Your officer is there to help you, and I strongly encourage you to use every avenue available to you to be successful. Because if you don't want to be back there, it's in your hands, Mr. Serrano.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would add to that if you get another disciplinary infraction, because you're not eligible for parole until August, if you receive another disciplinary infraction, that means that you're coming back before the board and your grant today would be rescinded. I want you to understand that.
No tickets.
No DRs, no more DRs, because you got enough for the whole, anyway. So with regard to, so for conditions, I have domestic violence, no victim, mental health treatment.
I have a stay away from the Grantmore Motor Lodge in Newington.
All right, anything else?
No, ma'am.
So with regard to Guillermo Serrano 3-62212, I move to grant discretionary parole by majority decision on or after his earliest eligibility date, August 23rd, 25. With the following conditions in addition to standard parole conditions: you'll participate in domestic violence in the community. You're to have no contact with your victim. Her initials J.O. You will participate in mental health treatment, and you are to stay away from the Grantmore Motor Lodge that was referenced on the record. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye. So again, this is a majority decision, sir. I've stated why I could not support your parole today. However, my colleagues are really going out on a limb for you, sir, and I really do hope that you take advantage of this opportunity and make good on your words.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck.
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Guillermo Serrano, number 362212. All right, you're all set, sir.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Good luck.
So I'm going to have to be frank. I found myself at the edge of my seat, hoping they would grant parole. I was rooting for him. And I'm sitting here thinking, why? Why is it that I find myself rooting for him? And again, it comes down to the fact that I think he was being authentic. It was real. I didn't feel that he was saying what they wanted, what he thought they wanted to hear. I think that he was actually saying what he feels. He's done. He wants to do better. He wants to build a relationship with his daughter. He's just tired. And that's where someone has to be. It's not going to be, oh, I took a program and I know now I know that no. And look, and the whole, he keep in mind too, like they said, he still has to not have a write-up. And we have had parole hearings where those are granted and then they come back for a second time. It's in the playlist return of if you want to see them. So we will see him. We will track that parole, that hearing, and either he's going to get released or we're going to cover him again, or he gets released and revoked and we'll cover him. But this is one of those hearings where I say I hope and pray that we never see him again.
My name is Guillermo Serrano, inmate number 362212.
Okay, and now it's Mandoo back from the president. As you can see, I punked myself. You see, the music, it's not only for those up for parole, it's, I guess, for anyone who kind of makes a fool of themselves, which was me 10 months ago. If you go and check out the original hearing, maybe I'll leave the link for it. I'm a little embarrassed, but I was rooting for him. I was fooled by him, maybe. I thought he was authentic. I thought he was ready for change. I thought that he was a man that had reached rock bottom. But as we're about to find out, not only did he get a write up, but he caught new charges. He actually was found guilty in court. I'm saying in court with the judge, and caught new time. And that's what this next hearing is about. It's a rescission hearing. We haven't seen many of them, but basically it's where the parole board grants parole and then they say to them, well, we're gonna have to take it away from you. And it's part of the very expensive process. He gets an attorney, the whole thing. We're gonna hear from the attorney. We're gonna hear a hot mic as well. But before we do any of that, I'm gonna read your comments from that parole hearing that we initially played. If you want to skip ahead, I'll leave timestamps in the description. I'm doing it by top comment, however YouTube decides to do that. It really is random. But he has so much trauma. I hope he finds healing and he's able to forgive himself. I'm truly rooting for this guy. And I want you to know this was my consensus as well. I mean, it really was. This is this is one of the very few hearings that I did come away with an icky feeling. He feels like he's done a lot of reflection and he has a chance to make it as a productive citizen. So many of these people are in such denial and lack of awareness. I felt the same way. Yes, you never know how hurt the pain someone carries. You never know if someone has been through. Hope this man continues his journey in a positive way. Again, remember, I'm doing this from the hearing that only 4,000 of you had seen. We're at 102,000 subscribers, so it's just a tiny percentage, right? Maybe 5,000 have seen it. I hope so much that this inmate does succeed. He may be one of those few persons who finally gets it. His hearing felt genuine to me. If you notice, he always maintained eye contact, remained calm and respectful. He did not appear to ready to fly off the handle at any point. I saw all of those things as an indication of growth. Thanks again, Mandoo. You're welcome. I felt this way too, but I know with oh gosh, what we're about to see, it's really trippy, guys. It's trippy. Never harmed a child. What about making child homeless due to arson? You're right. You're right. I stand corrected. Arson is one of the worst crimes you can commit. It makes you an extremely dangerous person. That's true. I'll heart that as well. Agreed. This is a reckless crime. And see, now we have the people who are a little bit more reasonable, I guess. Agreed. This is a reckless crime, and people probably became transients. Who among us could take an unplanned uprooting at home and keep a job, relationship, heirlooms, and sanity intact? If I wake up dead, my mom is going to be combing through my every blah 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 blah. Committed arsonist. Oh, there's allegations about committing arson in his cell too. Sorry, all upstanding folk with with face tats. I'm assuming you are him and staying away. Okay, that was rude. Psychopath is who does arson. Yikes. I vote no parole for Tate due to victim impact statements, programs not taken, and severity of the crime. We can say that together. No parole for Tate. On that note, here we go. Very few of you own the no parole for Tate hat. We do have merch. It will support the channel, and it's actually great quality. And there's a sale going on right now. I put a Christmas sale. Hardly any of you took advantage of it. I'm going to take that sale out. Basically, it's like cuts the prices by, I don't know, 30% or something. It's a real sale. It's not one of those, oh, I have a sale going on here. Want to see the hat bigger? Here we go. No parole for Tate. I also have a shirt. We have a sweatshirt. We have hoodies, the whole thing. And it really does support the channel. Using PCP daily, I can't even imagine that existence. Sounds like hell. Yeah. And I think it really did have a huge impact on his brain, as you'll soon see. When she says, no matter what it turns out to be today, Mr. Serrano, I believe in you. That hit different. That hit hard. Oof. I'm gonna give it a love because it hit different and hard for me too. Every time they ask him a question, he says, "To be honest." That's a sure sign that someone is not being honest and he's lying through his teeth all the way through the entire parole hearing. Um, explaining his bodily harm. And okay, let me read it. I get like ADD with long comments. Sorry. That he was lying through his teeth all the way through the entire parole hearing, and then he was explaining he was like, and bodily harm and bodily harm and bodily harm. It's like his head. It's like he heard the words bodily harm and went with it and didn't even know how to use it in a sentence. I hate the thing whenever someone says, to be honest. Some people just develop it as a really bad habit. And I've even heard prominent CEOs and other people use the words, to be honest. It's like a habit thing. It is really important, in my opinion, to get into the habit of saying, to be frank. I used to say, to be honest, also, and I had a mentor tell me, don't say that. Don't say that. And you have to work on it. You have to get out of the habit. Thank you, Mandoo Crew. You're welcome. Audrey from Australia always drops a comment. It was very happy that he is getting a chance to start over in his life. Aww. Don't forget to hit the like button. Well, thank you, Brenda. I do appreciate that. I do it before it even starts, and I know you do. Linda is at every parole hearing. Thank you, Mandoo and Holly. Holly, I didn't forget about Holly. I missed. That's the wrong word to say, guys. As Holly passed away, and but we still go in the spreadsheet and we still pull up Holly's notes. So she's always here with us, and we have her emoji at the end of every single parole hearing. The woman in the banner at the end is Holly, and so she is with us in every single parole hearing. I agree with you, Mandoo. I agree with you. I believe he is authentic, and I'm looking and rooting for him to be successful. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you. I hope he makes it and becomes a great father. Yikes. No. I actually really like him and see potential. See, there's a lot that sadly agreed with me. Mandoo, you can see where Dr. Frankenstein had sewed his skull above the forehead of this monster, a violent, dangerous monster, bro. says the cat who's on PCP right here. But hey, you were right, and I can see by your membership emoji, you I don't know why I don't recognize you. Look at how can I? That's a face I can't forget. Thank you, Zippin. Thank you, Christina. Do always #1 in the comment section. There's your trophy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he say that he's getting out in July? Grant him parole a day early. Keep an eye on him. Not July. 2026 is correct. Yes, he has an EOS of 2026. Who pays for services required for parolees after their release? A former inmate or the taxpayer? The taxpayer. Parole for Tate. Yes. Hey, what's up, Dread? Sorry if I missed the Dread. The Dread and I play a little game where he writes Mandoo and I write Dread. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's like this thing we do. I think I also do it with Crazy Cat, except I put little heart emojis under Crazy Cat. I think I caught him slipping up 16 minutes and 30 seconds when he asked him if he ever tried to set his cell on fire. He replied and said those were allegations, not facts. For those who know, you know. But when he went on to say he was never successful, and then Speaker caught him off, and I think he was going to say that he was never successful in setting the cell on fire, which means he tried to set it on fire. I actually think you're correct. I think he tried to set it on fire too. I'm confused with his parole or not. No, he was not. Sorry, I did not respond to that. All right. This will be the last one. I'm sorry, Mandy, but this guy has no clue what the true meaning of what he did to those people. Well, you're right. I hope I'm wrong. Thanks, Mandy Holly, and thanks for the good thought. No, you were right. I think you were right. He doesn't know. I guess I'll go through more. He doesn't know what he did to these people and why that he's so sorry. Let me tell you something. People like him, I've been through hell and back, and when they get the right help, they do not return back to jail. He doesn't know what he did. You're right. I'm really not sure about this guy. Thank you, Mandoo. Well, Joyce, also a regular every day here. Thank you. And you're probably right. I hope he changed. I pray to God he leads you solo. Stay strong. Oh, God, he leads you. He is lying. Is he real? PCP. Why you have kids? Linda, also a regular here every day. I think I get what you're saying. Well, I really felt that all was just hopeful to that the board would grant him parole. I'm really rooting for him with all my heart. I was rooting for him too. Starting from the beginning, very happy to get alive lately. Okay. All right. Now we're done, right? We're down. The hairline didn't love nobody. Oh boy. I'm all for it. I don't think he'll be back. He showed genuine emotions and realized harm he caused success. He also had a good support system he didn't have before. Well, Pam Jam, I don't know. People don't need to understand TV programming to know it's different than this. It is all designed to have you feel and act a certain way. No parole for Tate. None. Poor eyebrows. I was lost. Now I've been found. He too is handsome to be in jail. He is so handsome to be in jail. God, I tell what. I'm sorry, but this guy has no clue the true meaning of what he did to these people. Well, also a very loyal subscriber, Trinity. You might have been onto something. All right. Okay, we're done. All right. So I'll read the last two. I've been following the Way Saga, Murdered Two Women in Cold Blood. Oh, you guys remember that? That was like all over true crime like every second. With sociopath, but has the insane following a woman they call. Yeah, but how is this relevant? Okay. Is weird time we live in, my friend. Yes, it is. Also, Wesley Allen, a big time supporter. Also in the comment section. Good to see you here. Is it rugged, manly scars above his eyes? No, Audrey from Australia. It is tattoos of names. Anyways, guys, we're in for a ride. So buckle up and be sure to stick around for the hot mic. Let's go.
This is a rescission hearing to determine whether you have violated the conditions of release. I will review and make findings of fact after each of the charges against you. If I find that you have violated one or more of the conditions of your release, the board will consider whether or not the release should be rescinded. The decision made by the board today will be made final. This is an administrative hearing. The rules limiting the type of evidence that admissible in a criminal trial do not apply in a parole rescission hearing. Disputed charges will be resolved by the preponderance of evidence. The preponderance of the evidence means evidence that, taken as a whole, is more credible and convincing than the evidence offered in opposition to it. If at any time during this hearing you have a question about the procedure, feel free to ask me about it. At this hearing, you have certain rights, which I now will review with you. Mr. Serrano, did you receive written notice of this hearing?
Yes.
Did you receive a packet of information which includes the rescission notice and the information supporting the charges against you?
Yes.
You have the right to be represented by an attorney at this hearing. You have Attorney Gagnon here representing you today. You have the
Yes.
right to submit relevant documentary evidence, for example, letters or other written documents. Do you have any relevant documentary evidence to submit?
That's part of what?
Any letters or written documents you would like the board to review for this hearing? Any relevant documentary evidence?
Regarding the situation?
Correct.
Yes.
Do you have the evidence does your attorney have the evidence? Do you have the evidence? Where is the evidence located?
I have the evidence.
So I'm going to take a short recess. Do you know how many documents you have to submit?
It's quite a amount of documentation I have regarding the situation. Yes. So it's a few documentations. It's a lot.
Okay.
May I just ask Mr. Serrano, we discussed this and I was under the impression that the evidence that he was going to submit would be testimony.
Yes, but I also explained to you too as well when you came to visit me about 2 weeks ago that I have grievance forms, I have inmate request forms, I have incident reports that is relevant to this matter. And you told me that you don't think the documentation that I have is relevant to this matter. And I strongly believe that the documentation that I have is relevant to this matter. It is what led up to
Mr. Serrano, I asked you before if you wanted to ask for a continuance. Do you want to ask for a continuance?
No, because I spoke to you 2 weeks ago. I tried to give you the documentation and you said it was not relevant to the hearing.
Well, we
So-
can't, I'm sorry.
So I decided to just, bring the documentations on my persons and just
So
read it out.
the issue is, Mr. Serrano, and I apologize for speaking out of turn, Sir
Go
Chair
ahead,
and
please,
Officer
please.
Saunders. We cannot proceed without the information that you have, because we have to review it. So, like, as your attorney stated, so you may need to ask for a continuance so that we have an opportunity to review the stuff that you have. We can't make a determination based on by what you say. We have to see it and examine it in comparison to the stuff that the state has provided us, the Department of Corrections. Do you understand what I'm saying? We can't proceed without your information.
So can I just give it to you in testimonial and just explain to you what happened?
We're going to ask you questions during this hearing, but the question that the hearing examiner asked you was that if you had any written evidence, any documents that you wanted to submit, and you said you do. So if that is the case and you do want to submit those documents, like my colleague said, we cannot move forward because we won't have an opportunity to examine those. And it wouldn't be fair to you for us to make a decision on something that we haven't even looked at. So your options are to ask for a continuance, give us time to review those documents, and then we'll do this hearing another day, or proceed without submitting any documentary evidence, and you can submit your testimony when we ask questions today. Those are the options under my understanding. Is that right, Attorney Gagnon?
Yes.
So yes, then let's just move forward.
At this hearing, you have the right to call three witnesses and to talk. If you have any witnesses to testify.
Well, I'm sorry again to interject. Can we take a brief recess? Please? Ms. Allen, can you just put us in an executive session for a second? Or whatever the sign is, I meant. Just a brief,
Recess.
yeah, I are with our legal advisor here that we can still proceed, even though he said he does have the documentation available. So can you just give us a few minutes?
Yes, thank you. See where I'm getting at? They actually, I have about that previous documentation. Hey, Theo, can you call Hopper down here, please? Because I need him to explain what's going on with all my documentation. This is critical. What's going on today is critical. This is my freedom on the line. And they're asking me for evidence, documentation. And I need Howard out here to explain to them what's going on. But if that's the case, I can just move forward. Or
What documents do you have there, Mr. Serrano?
that what, ma'am?
What documents are you wanting to submit?
wanted to submit the ones that I have incident
Excuse
reports.
me, Attorney Gagnon, we can still hear you guys, just so you're aware.
And Alan, we're not in executive session. I'm sorry, we're in recess. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you said the incident reports?
Yes, stating that the correctional officers assaulted me and, the pictures that I'm currently been asking for, supposedly it was gonna be issued today, certain request forms regarding the incident. I was assaulted, the grievance forms, all that plays a big part. Yes, he's gonna try to come down. He's gonna try to come down. I don't need him to try to come down, I need him to come down. If he couldn't give me the rest of my incident reports and pictures, this plays a big part in this hearing. I need him to come down and explain to the board what's going on. Right, thank you.
Mr. Serrano, that would be a witness. So do you now have a witness?
As far as,
You said you just asked for someone to come explain something to the board. That would be a witness. It
yes,
sounds like. Do you want to continue? Do you want to continue this?
listen, I'm about to speak to the board real quick to see if they have any additional documentation that my sister faxed first class on Monday, regarding the incident, and I would like to see if they received that. Because the problem
When I asked 2 days ago, they had not.
spoke to my sister on Tuesday, she said he sent it. The thing that, the situation that is currently going on is DOC, for some reason.
But
are not
Mr.
trying to
Serrano,
issue-
we're not muted, so I just want to, I don't want to get into the details. I just wanted to know which documents you wanted to submit, if you have a witness, and if you want to continue the hearing.
Well, I don't know in this current I don't know in this current time because I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. They don't want to come
We've
down.
already had this discussion, and I already gave you my opinion, and I thought we were in agreement of how we were going to proceed.
If you let me talk and stop interrupting, I will explain to you. We're not talking about the current situation that we spoke about 2 weeks ago. I'm stating to you what's currently going on with the additional paperwork that I'm requesting. DOC is not trying to forward me them documentations because they saying it's a security risk issue. And I have a request form stating that. So I just want to see if they're gonna continue to move forward to try to issue me the paperwork. If not, I just rather go forward on the hearing. Because if my back is against the wall and I'm not being issued the additional documentations I need that are critical to this hearing, then why wait to continue the hearing now if DOC is not trying to issue me them additional documentation? We could just move forward. If not, if DOC is willing to forward me the additional documentation that I need, then we could continue the hearing.
Well, you need to make a decision. There's not an if. So we need to know, do you want to continue this hearing, or do you want to go forward and use your testimony as evidence?
So I said previously before, let's move forward.
Mr. Serrano, we are back on record.
Yes,
Can you hear us?
yes.
Yes.
Alan, are we back on live stream? Or I see the live speaker. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Serrano. So we were just discussing how we should proceed and move forward. So what we're going to offer again to you is the options of continuance. I strongly suggest that, and that you take time to consult with your attorney and then submit those documents and then allow us time to review them. And then we can hear this case again over the next couple of weeks or month. If you wish to proceed, just understand that we're going to move forward with the documentation that's already been provided to us. And then whatever testimony you offer today, we will not have the opportunity to review those documents that you believe you said are relevant. And once we proceed in that direction, there will be no redoing of the hearing. You're going to have to live with whatever decision that's made is. Without us having reviewed that, without you having had an opportunity to speak to your attorney in private. So, I strongly encourage you to consider those options and speak to your attorney. I mean, before you proceed with this, I don't know how else to say it. So ultimately, this decision is up to you, sir.
So, if I decide to continue the hearing and submit every documentation that is relevant to this matter, you said it takes a couple weeks to 30 days?
Yeah, I can't give the exact date, sir. We're not going to schedule it right now, but it is going to be at least a couple of weeks. We would try our best to make this on the 31st.
Yeah, we need time to review the document.
We would need time. It looks like you have a big pile of documents there. We want to be fair to you and be able to read all those. So we would need time, but we would do our best to have this hearing on December 31st.
All right.
I think that would be 2 weeks, I believe. So, I think your attorney, would advise you to do the same thing. Moving forward, sir, it's not in your best interest without submitting those documents. If you believe they're relevant.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Alrighty, sir. So I think I'm going to give this back to the hearing examiner. We're going to move forward from there.
So let's grant this continuance and move this hearing until December 31st, 2025.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to, in regards to Guillermo Serrano, inmate number 362212, to continue this matter to December 31st, 2025. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Serrano, this has been continued. Work with your attorney and the parole officer and get those documents to us, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.
Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
You will.
And don't worry, guys, you don't need to wait another second. We have his next hearing and we're about to watch it. Now, just to think that this hearing actually happened 12/31/2025, New Year's Eve. I can't imagine the parole board is thrilled about having to come into work for this one and only hearing, this rescission hearing on New Year's Eve. Not a great time to pull it off. And if you just think about it, just from the perspective of a resource thing, how much money this entire process is costing the Connecticut taxpayers, right? His full term date is November 5th, 2026. He's getting out in 11 months, regardless of this. Yes, the new, I guess, felonies that he caught, or we'll get more into that. They just run those sentences concurrent with his current sentence, if you can imagine the DAs and judges that run this state. But anyways, like the attorneys they give him and all of the costs and the whatnot, and then the insanity that you even show up to, okay, can we parole you while you got handcuffs on? It's mind-blowing to me. Anyways, I digress. Let's go jump in. And while we're here, thank you. Please give a comment for Sir Richard. Say thank you for connecting all of the dots. Without him, it would not be possible. So we're, I think, the only YouTube channel that covers parole hearings to this extent on all of YouTube. That's pretty cool. That's pretty amazing. And it is New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's to all of you. Now let's go find out what they decide.
My name is Guillermo Serrano, inmate number 362212.
Attorney Gagnon, please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Attorney Nicole Gagnon, bar number 424800.
On December 18th, 2025, the hearing was continued for Mr. Serrano to provide relevant documentary evidence. Since then, we have received the following exhibits. Exhibit 1, August 5th, 2025 Incident Report, Part 1. Exhibit 2, August 5th, 2025 Incident Report, Part 2. Exhibit number 3, August 6th, 2025 Incident Report, Part 1. Exhibit 4, August 6th, 2025 Incident Report, Part 2. Exhibit 5, Inmate Grievance Forms. Exhibit 6, Administrator Segregation Placement from Warden Reese. Exhibit 7, inmate request forms. Exhibit 8, documents from Sister Omara Serrano. And Exhibit 9, letter of support from Sister Omara Serrano. At this hearing, you have the right to call voluntary witnesses and to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you have any witnesses testify today?
No.
Are you prepared to proceed
No.
with this hearing at this time? Thank you.
Yes.
I will review each charge and inform you of the information underlying the charge. If you choose to make no reply to the charge, the hearing shall proceed and my decision will be made based on available information. At the conclusion of the fact-finding portion of the hearing, I will inform you of my findings. The hearing will be then turned over to the board to consider your suitability for release. Mr. Serrano, the testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or confidence you perfectly?
I do.
Thank you. Charge 1, significant adverse information. On February 13th, 2025, Mr. Serrano's discretionary hearing is held. The board voted to grant Mr. Serrano discretionary parole on or after August 23rd, 2025. Mr. Serrano's estimated end of sentence is November 5th, 2026. Since his February 15th, 2025 hearing, Mr. Serrano has received an additional 20 disciplinary reports. Furthermore, Mr. Serrano was arrested on August 6, 2025 for the following charges: 4 counts of assault on public safety, threatening second physical threat, and failure to comply with fingerprint requirements. He was also arrested on October 15, 2025 for assault on public safety and weapon and correctional institution. On November 14, 2025, Mr. Serrano was convicted of 3 counts of assault third and threatening second physical threat under docket ending in 076. Mr. Serrano was sentenced to 6 months jail concurrent to his present sentence ending in docket 076. On November 14, 2025, he was also convicted of assault third under docket ending in 745. Mr. Serrano was convicted to 6 months jail concurrent to his present sentence and concurrent to docket number ending in 076. It is now the defense opportunity to respond to the charges.
Hello, again, my name is Attorney Nicole Gagnon with Bansley Law Firm. I've been appointed by this court to represent inmate Guillermo Serrano, number 362212, for his parole rescission hearing today. Mr. Serrano represents that he was harassed and targeted by the COs at Cheshire due to his crimes. He further represents that he had reached out to mental health stating he felt unsafe and targeted in the prison and wanted to harm himself, and they did not protect him or treat his mental health issues. Although Mr. Serrano has pled guilty to all the tickets, he does not agree with all of them, but pled guilty because he did not want to prolong the time away from his support system, his mother, his sister, his grandmother, and his 2 young children via visits and telephone. The precipitating incident was actually on September 26, 2025, when he was on 4-point restraint and had a seizure, almost lost his life, and went to the emergency room. He states he had never had seizures before this and is now taking medication for PTSD. If you look at these incidents closely, he's put on observational status for 3 days in October of 2024 prior to this because he was found to have a ligature and dysregulated. Mr. Serrano had a self-mutilation ticket on 4/26/25 and several other tickets for assault for throwing biohazardous substances. He states that on 8/5/2025 and before the large chunk of tickets that he received, he went to the captain's office to seek mental health assistance, stating he did not feel safe and he wanted to hurt himself. He was not de-escalated. In fact, the situation was escalated into another day, a total of 8 tickets. This was not willful noncompliance or even criminal intent. It's untreated mental illness and institutional failure of treatment. He was consistently told this was behavioral when he reached out. The OC responded with discipline where treatment was needed. These behaviors could be neurological due to seizures or psychological, and I believe that Mr. Serrano should see a neurologist or a psychologist for further evaluation, and his mental health score should be reviewed for an increase as he has reached out to mental health providers stating he felt he was unsafe and wanted to hurt himself many times in the last couple of months prior to 8/5. At this point, Mr. Serrano has received no tickets at Walker CI and has complied with administrative segregation restrictions and is seeing a mental health counselor. He asks to be given a new parole date in May 2026 so that he can have access to the services that parolees receive. He admits to his anger being a problem and agrees to seek anger management if allowed to reparole in May so he can serve out the 6-month sentence he received for the outside misdemeanor charges. He does want the opportunity to speak on the record.
Mr. Serrano, it's now your time to speak.
Now, first of all, I want to say thank you for granting me parole back in February the 13th. It was an honor. I was grateful. It was a blessed day. Like my lawyer previously stated, there was an incident that occurred back on September 26th of 2024. It wasn't 2025. An incident happened where I was beaten by multiple correctional officers. I was sexually abused with chemical agents that was deployed into my main genitals. Also was deployed into orally inside my mouth. That's what caused the seizure on 4 points, what led me out to be hospitalized. Due to the amount of beatings I received at Cheshire Correctional Institution, I've currently had severe sciatic nerve damage. I have nerve damage to my left side of my body where I'm currently taking medications. Even before the hearing that took place for parole back in February the 13th, at the time, I didn't speak up about it because it wasn't relevant to the parole date. It wasn't relevant to the parole hearing. But I was harassed, beaten, targeted multiple occasions before my parole date, and even the day of my parole date when parole was granted. Not even 20 minutes after parole, there was a ticket issued through the door for security, for alleged security tampering, where I guess an inmate took my PIN number and used the phone, which was my phone underneath my account. I was issued a ticket instead of the inmate that actually did the security tampering. They didn't receive the ticket. They gave me the ticket for it. But I know it was because parole told me to stay out of trouble and not receive any tickets. Once I left out of the hearing that day, there was multiple comments being made that, you know, that I should have been granted any parole. Parole should never have been granted to me in the first place due to my crimes that took place back in February the 13th of 2018. There is correctional officers that does work at Cheshire Correctional Institution, that family and friends were involved in first responders of the night of February 13th of 2018. So I was already a target from the beginning. Throughout the process of being targeted, being harassed, being beaten after the fact, I made parole. You know, like tickets as far as being out of place, as far as contraband being, I could say being placed inside my property while I was housed in RHU for a couple of days fighting my second ticket, which that ticket was dropped, the out of place ticket was dropped. It probably shows on record that, you know, I received it and that's all it's gonna say, that I received the out of place ticket. But that ticket was dropped because it was written wrong and I wasn't out of place. They actually gave me a tampering with safety and security ticket instead of an out of place ticket. So when they did an investigation on the second ticket was dropped. It took me 2 or 3 days for them to investigate the ticket. On my third day on the investigation, when the intelligence unit came to speak to me in RHU, they said that the ticket was going to be dropped due to the evidence, me not being out of place. And in that process, once again, I was targeted. My property was being shaken down while I was housed in the A&P room. And need I remind you, my property was already housed inside the A&P room for the last 3 days. I guess because of the ticket being dropped, they did a property search and allegedly found some K2 on my property, which I fought the ticket, I lost. Then right afterwards, not even a couple of days afterwards, I was issued another ticket for out of place once I was released from SAG. So it was a multiple incident that was just occurring after one another, and I was just being targeted. And DOC knew that. Warden Reese knew I was being targeted, but the whole problem at hand was due to the amount of profiles I have in other facilities, it was hard to transfer me. So it was either transfer me to my county, which is Hartford County, or keep me at the facility. And because I was still had a couple months left to receive my parole date to actually be released, they denied me the transfer. Instead, they kept me in the environment. Even throughout that whole process, I tried to seek help. I wrote numerous request forms, numerous documentations, went to mental health seeking help, and they just simply denied me the help. As my lawyer said, they said it was more of a behavioral problem. And to be honest, it wasn't. It was just me seeking help. And I guess on August 5th, I went to go seek help due to an incident that happened with an officer. I will not expose his name on the video today, but he was trying to inflict bodily injury, and I addressed the situation. Multiple lieutenants and captain came down to the block, investigated the situation, removed the officer out the block. And at that point in time, Warden Reese was like, give me a couple of days and I'll transfer you to Hartford County. Came August 5th. They still didn't grant me the transfer. I went to go seek help due to another incident that happened on that day. And instead of helping me, they escalated the situation.
Thank you. Anything further, Mr. Serrano?
No.
I'm just going to take a moment before I announce my findings. Having a finding of violation of charge 1, condition significant adverse information based on Mr. Serrano's conviction and the evidence provided, which I find more credible than testimony offered in opposition to it. That concludes the fact-finding portion of this hearing. Mr. Serrano, should you be re-paroled, where do you plan to live and what are your employment options, if any?
Same address, which is my grandmother's. If not, my mother said she's willing to allow me to use her address. I have my stepfather's address, so I'll still be residing in East Hartford area. Now, if I do use my mother's address, I'll be residing in Manchester, Connecticut. As far as employment, same. As I stated before, you know, I have my stepfather's willing to help me with my CDL classes to get me into, you know, that line of work field. I have, you know, multiple jobs lined up, which families and friends actually took the time to say if I was to be released, you know, I have a couple of job offers lined up. You know, if not, I spoke to my father already. My father said I'm able to work in the construction company, so hopefully I can work with my father as well. But I do have jobs lined up.
Just to confirm, your grandmother is Elsa Maldonado, who resides on Canyon Road. Is that your first option?
Excuse me, I couldn't, can you repeat that, please?
Your grandmother, you said for your sponsor, does she reside on Canyon Road in East Hartford?
Yes, yes,
And her name is Elsa?
yes, Elsa.
Okay. And then as a backup plan would be your mother as a sponsor, who's Myra.
Myra, yes.
And she also, we don't have an address for her. Would you like to provide an address for her?
See, I was trying to, I apologize, I was trying to actually bring them current documentation down here, but since I'm in a new facility, I can't walk with anything in my personnel, but I walk through the hallways. But she did give me her address this week, and I do have it. I know it's on Street in Manchester, Connecticut.
Can you spell that? The street name?
Yes, street. I forgot the number.
Oh, how do you spell the street name? Okay. All right. And then you have job opportunities, hold on.
Yes, a couple. Yes, a couple.
Mr. Serrano's parole for leaving is April 16th, 2026, and his estimated end of sentence is November 5th, 2026. I will now turn the hearing over to the panel.
Good morning, Mr. Serrano.
Good morning, sir.
So what's going to happen now is I'm going to check with my colleagues and see if they have any questions, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Panel member Barry.
I really don't have any questions. Other than making findings, and I agree with her findings. The fact that there were convictions based on the information provided. I understand Mr. Serrano's position and his saying that he was being targeted and not given the proper treatment. But I do agree with the hearing examiner's finding and the conviction. I mean, actually, I do have one question, Mr. Serrano. I apologize. Were you appeared in court for these assaults?
Yes.
And did you check when were you given an opportunity to speak on your own behalf?
No, they told me that wasn't possible unless I was taking the case to trial.
And who represented?
I think her name was Lyra or something like that. I forgot my attorney's name.
Did she?
It was a she, yes.
Did she make any kind of plea to the court that of what you're telling us today?
Yes, she did. And that's why allegedly they said it was willing to drop my felony charges down to misdemeanors. Because they reviewed all the videos. I want the record to reflect that I'm not, by me explaining to you what I currently went through, that don't justify what happened on August 5th. Not one time I'm saying that justify what happened on August 5th. You know, I take full responsibility for my actions. I do want to apologize after parole did grant me parole. You know, I received amount of tickets that I received. I just want the record to reflect that, you know. But they did review the video cameras. My lawyer said that the state prosecutor said that they ain't seen no assault on the video cameras, and that's why they dropped the felony charges down to misdemeanors. The only thing they seen on the video camera was me flooding my tail and water coming outside of my cell door. That's about it. So.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, panel member Paul, did you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any questions. Honestly, I'm concerned about the actions of Mr. Serrano.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's like there were some deliberate things that were done there. didn't involve other people. So that's that, you know, my concern is that after granting of parole, their discretionary parole, there were some decisions that you made to do some things that actually didn't involve other officers. You know, in that way, it's like there's still a pattern. And that just that's what concerns me. So that's I appreciate your input. You know, and the eight different exhibits that were submitted to us, and I just that's where I am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Serrano, I just had a couple questions. Do you remember completing the domestic violence program while you were incarcerated?
Yes.
Did they talk to you about, as part of that, like coping skills for anger management?
Yes.
You remember any of those skills? Like, what are the types of things that you could do when you get upset so that you don't act out? Did they teach you those kinds of things?
You know, they taught me the basics as far as, you know, taking deep breaths, walking away from certain situations.
Have you tried to use those kinds of coping skills? It sounds like you do remember. That's what I was asking about. Have you tried to use those types of, you know, actions when you get upset, when these things happen?
Yes, I've tried multiple times, and as far as, you know, walking away from certain situations, I walked away from plenty. That's why I was trying to seek help.
Okay.
You know, instead of going the violent way, I tried to seek help, and that was my way of, you know, walking away from the situation and trying to do, you know, go about the situation in a proper way.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. One way or another, you're getting out soon. You're going to be out, you know, next year, and you're going to have to use those skills in the community to avoid coming back in, you know?
Yes.
I also want to mention, you know, we reviewed all those documents like my colleague said that you submitted. So I want to thank you for that. And just, you know, let you know that we received a very nice letter from your sister, and there are people that care about you in the community that want you to do well. So you have the support when you get out, you know?
Yes.
And, you know, she goes on to talk about, you know, how she feels about you and wants you to be successful in the community and so forth. So we did review all of those documents. That's really all I had, sir. I think at this time, we're going to talk about your case and make a decision on what to do. You can listen. Please don't interrupt during this time. And
Yes,
then we'll
sir.
come back. We'll come back and give you our decision, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Panel member Barry, yes.
So, Third Chair, I with that Serrano's original discretionary parole hearing, and I was one of the people who went in a minority because I did not believe that he was suitable for discretionary parole based on the new information and the new convictions and the findings. I am still of that same mindset that Mr. Serrano, while I can sympathize with you know, everything that he has encountered there in the facility, I'm hoping that he's in a better environment to get the help that he needs so that he can be stable to go out to his 5 years of probation. But I am going to vote to rescind the vote to parole decision and not provide a new date.
Okay. Panel member Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate what's been presented today. However, some of the DRs that were given were very deliberate kinds of things. That's concerning because, you know, one of the criteria that we look at for suitability is, can you go out into the community and react or act in a certain way? And I'm just concerned with some of the actions that were taken here, what that's going to look like in the community. So I cannot get to suitability here based upon the new the new information and not support a new parole date in this case.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to say, I want to also say that the letter that came from family is really, really important. And I think Mr. Serrano should use the remainder of the time to really set himself up to be successful in the community when he is released.
Yeah, I agree with that. It appears as though over the last couple of months, he's been doing well since he's been transferred. He appears to be receiving the medical treatment that he would like to receive. And, you know, I'm hoping that he can continue that through the end of his incarceration and right out into the community so that there aren't further problems, because he does have 5 years of probation that it will not be easy for him, you know, that kind of supervision to get through. So, and I'm in agreement with the both of you. So I'm going to make a motion in the matter of Guillermo Serrano, inmate number 362212. I'll make a motion to rescind his discretionary parole with no new parole date. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Mr. Serrano, we were not able to find you suitable for parole today, so we rescinded your parole date and you'll go out at the end of sentence to your probation, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm not sure why his attorney was there, what exactly she did, or what all that evidence that he needed to show. Obviously, it didn't. I don't know the video. I don't really know, but you know, they denied his parole. He didn't throw a man baby tantrum, but it is disturbing. It's so disturbing that he is getting out regardless in 11 months, and clearly he is dangerous. I'm not buying into the stories. I'm just not. You heard how dangerous he is. He had one job not to get, and he gets a write-up within 20 minutes of that initial parole hearing. And then he gets all of these other things to the point where they're actually new charges. And then the state of Connecticut, they don't, when they have a chance to put him in prison longer, because clearly he needs to be in prison. And this is someone, if you want to look at the prior parole hearing, who was rooting for him, who wanted him to get out. You have to look at what's in front of us. They caught him with narcotics. Let's look at what Sir Richard found. This is the facts. This is it. He was arrested 8/6/2025. That was 3 months ago. Arrested, pled guilty to a misdemeanor assault 3rd degree. Threatening to physical threat, was sentenced to 6 months. 11/4/2025. He was just sentenced a month ago. Then he's arrested again 10/15/2025. I guess they say for crimes committed on 8/5/2025. I don't know if it's, but he pled guilty to misdemeanor assault 3rd, was sentenced to 6 months, 11/14. I don't know if it's the same thing or it's, well, they spoke about it being a couple of them, right? So they give him a plea deal. He catches new, they lower it to misdemeanors, and he's getting out in his full term date now, regardless, November 5th, 2026. Do you think for a second that he is going to succeed? Or is he possibly going to kill someone? It's not, the empathy. If you want to choose to have empathy in this case, have empathy for him. He's clearly not well. He clearly cannot control himself when he's in prison. We've seen enough parole hearings. If you want to go and sit on the bandwagon that the CEOs are picking on him, he's the most unlucky guy in the world, and blah, blah, blah. I don't, you're probably a PhD. There's people, there's enough, even Mike Pohl, that's all you need to know. Let's just, I don't need to convince you. Even Mike Pohl did not want him to get out. Even Mike Pohl was upset by this. And what he did was deliberate. The crimes that he did, the thing, even with the, when you think about it, all of it, he might mean well, but clearly daily use of PCP has fried his brain. Maybe he doesn't have any frontal cortex left. He just doesn't have the ability to impulse control. No matter how much he wants to do better, he can't help himself. And he's going to get out. And that's what I say. If you have empathy for him, you'd want him to have more time, just more time to, I don't know if it's possible for him. I don't know if he's capable. But you would want him more time just to I don't know, mature. I mean, they had the chance. They had the chance with this to give him more years. In Utah, you pick up 5 years for each of those assaults. We see that all the time. I don't think it's a good thing, but in Utah, you can go in with a 2-year sentence and you end up with 10, 15 years for the assaults you pick up in prison. They don't mess around there. It's funny how we don't see this in Louisiana, huh? I mean, it must be happening, but in Louisiana, you wouldn't even get a chance at parole. Now you have to wait 3 years between a write-up. It could be a low court write-up. It could be the dumbest thing, not having a clean bed, and you won't be able to have a parole hearing. Here in Connecticut, you can show up to a parole hearing in handcuffs after you've been convicted of assault on a CO. And then you don't earn more time, and he's getting out November 5th, 2026. It must have felt good for, who was it? The only one who dissented was Barry. And then Barry's back here on the panel. She's like, I dissented then. I told y'all I was right. I was right. Now we all have to show up New Year's Eve, and they were in person, by the way. It wasn't over the phone. I know that because they for like 15 minutes they were like reviewing cases. They were there in person at the office, and I it's just, guys, I don't know what else to say. What am I missing? I know there's not much more to talk about in this case. We it's this is why I'm so jaded. There are a few cases where I say, where, because at the beginning, again, I didn't do it for much of the big, but when I covered it the initial time, I was rooting for him. I thought he was genuine. I thought he hit rock bottom. I thought, he wanted it, and he lasted 20 minutes before his first write up. And you just, it's about staying out of trouble. That a guy got his pin, I just don't buy it. Like, you can't just, you know, y- what, you're being bullied. The guy stole your pin. It's just, you can't. Why are the guards out to get you too? What are you doing? It's just, we see enough of the worst chomos that manage to not get write-ups. It's what you do. You can control it, and there's something, he's gonna get out there. And I guess leave in the comment section what you think will be first. Is he gonna be in the news first, or is he gonna get? I don't think he doesn't have special parole, right? So I don't know when we're gonna see him again. So I don't see here. Let me just double check. Nope. He has it's no special parole, it's a flat sentence. So we're not gonna see him for a special parole application. It would be just in the news. And I will let you know. I'll let you know. I'll give you some type of update. I'll pin it in the comments or something if something terrible does happen. But there's no way that anything good can come from this. And thank you again, Sir Richard, and everybody. I want to wish you all a beautiful, happy New Year's. This has been an incredible year. We got the YouTube 100K plaque this year. It's been so special to have it all with you. And we're going to keep doing this as long as Connecticut doesn't stop us. I have a little bad feeling. I'm a little nervous, guys, that maybe starting 2026, Connecticut's going to do something to try to stop us. Let's really hope that doesn't happen, okay? But that has been keeping me up at night. I have a bad feeling. So hopefully not. Hopefully not. I think what we're doing is important. And with that, I'll let you go.
You love yourself, Mr. Serrano?
I love myself. Yeah, at times I put a lot of high hopes for myself.
Have you forgiven yourself?
No, me. I haven't forgiven myself for a lot of things I've done.
That's something to work on, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a lot to carry around with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next time you say you love yourself, smile.